Hello and Merry Christmas, Chiefs fans. Welcome back to RGR Football and this week's edition of Kingdom Corner. It's Week 16, and the Chiefs are playing host to the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are 4-10, the Chiefs are 13-1, and they couldn't be two teams going further in opposite directions at this point of the season. The Falcons will be hard-pressed to play for anything more than pride this week as they're on their way home once the season ends. The Chiefs are looking for another trip back to Florida in February as they try to run it back for back-to-back Super Bowls. These two teams, we're looking at some teams that have some players that are missing, some players that are questionable. On the Chiefs side, Tyreek Hill's questionable. And I did a whole "Twas the Night Before Chiefs" article. You can check that out on FTFN Network. Basically, Chiefs fans shouldn't be restless tonight. They shouldn't be worried, even though Tyreek Hill is out and, questionable, not out. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire is listed as out. Damian Wilson is out. He's been out for a few weeks now. The reason being is that the Chiefs have more than adequately prepared for situations like this. They are more prepared than any other team in the league because they're replacing guys with players that would be starters on other teams. In Clyde Edwards-Helaire's place, we're going to be playing its two-time All-Pro running back in Le'Veon Bell, who's still in his 20s and is producing at a better clip every week. Every single week he learns the offense a little bit more, gets a little more comfortable, and seems to be that much more effective and keeps improving in his yards per carry average as well. In the receiver department, if Tyreek Hill is out, he's not listed out yet, he'll be replaced by Sammy Watkins, who since returning from injury a few weeks ago himself, has gotten smoother and smoother back into the game and is being more and more effective each week and could be a starter, as could Le'Veon Bell and many other teams across the league. This isn't a team that has depth. This is a team that has starter depth across the board. I've played on teams like this before, semi-pro, and it's just a matter of how much are we going to win by more than are we going to win going into each game. I think the Chiefs' mentality is to close the season strong, finish with a couple of wins, dominate, stamp this season as their season, and go into the playoffs without question being the number one seed in the AFC, which they can lock up this week with a win, which would give them home field advantage, and more importantly, give them the only bye in the AFC playoffs this season, as there's only one bye for both the AFC and NFC champions going of the regular season. This week, look for the Atlanta Falcons to come into Arrowhead, the cold confines of Arrowhead, where they're not used to. They're used to their indoor stadium. They're going to be missing Julio Jones. They're going to be missing Darqueze Dennard. They're missing their center, Alex Mack, and their guard, James Carpenter. This is a team that has problems in the wrong positions to face a team like the Chiefs, who have been getting back on track with sacks, have been really doing a great job stuffing the run, which Atlanta's not stellar at to begin with. And their pass defense, the Atlanta Falcons' pass defense, couldn't be more opposite of the Chiefs' pass defense currently. They're lower bottom four teams, and the Chiefs are upper four in QBR rating of opponents, and the passing percentage for QBs against the Chiefs' defense is not great. Look forward to this week, the Chiefs winning by about a score of 38-17. That's my prediction. The Chiefs went into New Orleans last week and dominated the team by time of possession and in the run game. In fact, they've dominated their opponents through the last 4 weeks in the run game, and the Chiefs have possessed the clock, which apparently everyone seems to think is the way to beat the Chiefs by ticking off time and keeping Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, but teams don't seem to be able to do that. And on the rare occasion that they do, their record's 13-1. It doesn't seem to matter. The Chiefs have been outrushed a number of times this season. Again, only once has it made a difference. And in that game, the Chiefs were rather lethargic and didn't look like themselves versus the Raiders the first time they played them this season. Turned it around, and when they went to Las Vegas, catch myself there, they returned the favor and dominated the Raiders in that game, had a very strong outing, and came away with the victory to split the season series with them. A team that looks like they're turning the corner of coming back into relevance, much like the Chiefs did upon the arrival of Alex Smith and Andy Reid. The Chiefs' run game is going to see a boost, I think, in attempts this week, just because of the fact that the run defense of the Atlanta Falcons is nowhere near the realm of that of the Saints. And the Chiefs were very effective versus the Saints. It's going to be, again, like I said, on grass at Arrowhead. So the Chiefs are going to need to get Darwin Thompson involved. They're going to need to get Darrell Williams involved. Not sure if they're going to elevate anybody from the practice squad, but Le'Veon Bell is going to be the workhorse. He's going to be the bell cow, and we'll get a chance to see what he can do. I predicted last week that I figured for the rest of the season, before Clyde Edwards-Helaire was injured, mind you, that Le'Veon Bell was going to see more yards rushing in the end of the season and the rest of this year with 2021 coming up and through the playoffs than he saw his entire season with the Chiefs by far. Now that Clyde is injured and possibly out till the beginning of the playoffs, that's guaranteed. Hopefully the Chiefs can keep him healthy. Hopefully he can be as effective as he has been up to this point, in which case I don't see any reason that any team's going to be able to stop the Chiefs' passing attack with Patrick Mahomes at the helm. Patrick looks to me like the leader in the MVP. I'm not going to say the lock for the MVP because Aaron Rodgers has been putting up a great battle this season, hasn't beaten a couple statistical categories, but had a terrible showing last week. Had his second showing of under 161 yards this season. He had one game of 160 yards passing, one game of 143, where Patrick has not had a season under 200 yards this season. Hasn't had a game with under 200 yards passing this season. He's thrown touchdowns in every game. And has just looked every part the most valuable player on the team, on the field. And I believe we'll do so again against the Atlanta Falcons. In that score, 38-17, if there are some defensive turnovers that go for touchdowns or possibly special teams, then that could easily turn into a 40-burger for the Chiefs. Atlanta's just not equipped to handle their explosiveness, and I don't think their heart's going to be in it. I frankly don't think they're going to bring their lunch pail to work, and I think the Chiefs are going to. Even though you might think a team that's 13-1 could look at this as a trap game, as a relax, we got one more week to lock. I don't see that happening with this franchise. Which sadly might make for a less climactic Week 17 as the number of starters might sit, but that's a story for next week. As for now, from my Christmas living room to yours, Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining us on RGR Football. Thank you for coming back and enjoying Kingdom Corner each week with me. I look forward to talking to you next week when hopefully the Chiefs are 14-1, and hopefully Travis Kelce has locked up the most receiving yards by a tight end this week. All he needs is 60, folks. He's been getting about 136 each week the last few games, and this could be the week he does it. And I'm hoping that he can actually pull out the most receiving yards by anyone in the regular season, which would be the first time a tight end's ever done it. He's in a tough race with DeAndre Hopkins, who's ahead of him by a few yards. Stephon Diggs is just behind him. That's great company to be keeping. Either way, go Chiefs.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.